Nida, Zog Rashi, because we saw the Gemara already yesterday. Shema Yashva, maybe she sat. Maybe take a shop here. Even though the ones who eat Shabbat Kodesh, when it comes to Kodesh, Lo Havia, and however Tumas Mitsuyehi, they're worried, right? Since it's a very common thing, Tumas Nida, common thing, you know. Bleeding. Zav is a less common thing. Yeah, it's like some mysterious discharge. I got a question. Yeller? Is it rainbow? I don't know. Ayin Meseches Zavin in Mishnayos Taros. Maybe she will sit. Maybe his wife sat on it. That's a nida. Aval beperi, but with fruit, lo amrino. We don't say the ain tumas on mitsuya. It's not a the shmira of truma is on the level of a shmira on the kodesh. Lemahora nami tema timitamea kodesh. Because if so, truma tahar. That's with the zav case, but right, the fruit we also say. Fruit? Also say. So we have the clothes of the Amaretz that we say, look, Truma is Tame in regards to Kachim. Says the Gemara, that is different because that is by, nowadays you've got Nita sitting everywhere. It's right. Like a whole Tame Veld. We need really, we need Beis HaMikdash.
Oh, man.
We need Beis HaMikdash. We need what?
I feel like being here in this year is an aspect of the third Beis HaMikdash.
Shkayach. Nami Amariz. Rabbi Yitzchak holds, no, we also say it by fruit, like mitameing fruit. From Truma to Kachem, Tower Truma is Tame in comparison to Kachem. You're even 50. He's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Stop right there. He says, Umi Amrinam Beberi, and who says with fruit? V'hatanan I, but doesn't it say in a Mishnah in the Chagiga Chaf Dalid? We gotta see Chagiga. Give me a Chagiga, please. Shkayach. I separated into it a revius of Kodesh. Naaman, we believe him, not make the kachim tame. The iyamar, the Nevi say that truma tehora, truma lagdish. You should say that truma should be able to impurify hektish. Amar lei truma b'chibur manami at truma. Since they are believed on Kodesh, they're believed also by truma. No, I want it in Babli.
Yeah, okay. What's the top?
Well, we have about 6 dapim that we need to see.
Okay.
So says Rashi, here Marty Rashi is there's Bechomer, Bekodesh, there's Tanan, Biyayin, or group in one vessel. That's Tovati. And so since Tum B'Chiburun is different, that since he's believed on the Kodesh, he's believed also on the Truma. Migo, on the Truma. Migo, say on Truma, he's also believed on the Truma. A chance yesterday, I felt bad. I'm like, oh, I hope we get to see him again. The Rebbe Nasan, who is the Rebbe Nasan, who is also, and I saw yesterday, I'm like, well, Bar Nasan. Nathaniel.
Yeah.
Nathaniel. Yeah. Says, B'sheni shebechu, we said above. V'ashlishi, and the three we said above. V'ashlishi, and the three is in Kodesh. The Mashke Kodesh, Reposel Okle Kodesh, and it also the food that's Kodesh. Amru. With these rule, and it was said, Ekdish, when it's made on the purity of Ekdish in Kodesh. So, Vidazu Altaris Ekdish. So we see that what? That this guy's super duper chumrah is indeed the reality that he's being machmir and that he's saying that I'm having an Taras Kodesh. And we see it from a beferish Mayan Titania, because it says in a brisa, but this is one of those ditnans, but it's written. When they first put, even trying to mess up the top of Gemara. So, good thing we have our Chagiga. Chagiga, they're saying Chagiga Kaf. Where do I see that? Interessant. So the Mishnah here is not in Chagiga, but it could say Ditznan. Ditznan. Chulin Lamed Amud Beis. That's what they quote our Gemara. Chulin that's made on Daras HaKodesh. Hayu Kechulin. Tanakama and the Rab. Person. Rebbe Lazar bar Rabbi Tzadok Omer. Rebbe Lazar, son of Rabbi Tzadok, says, Arehi Kitruma. He says that it does. It says the Tanan. It says the Tanan, the Gemara in Chagiga, and in the side, it switches it. It should say the Tanya. So this brisa is a machlokes if this person is chumrah shnayim v'lifzo echad to make tame one. Tanakama says ve'ein bain klal shlishi. They never ever act right. That's what Tanakama says. They can become two, and to become puzzle, they become one. Kilaimar. What does that mean? Harishon ve'asheni, the first and the second, is tame. Become tame by them. And the shlishi becomes puzzle. There's no four by Truma. Sulo mikri shlishi didu tame. And so Sanskrit kititani viposel ochle kodesh. And it puzzles the eaters of kodesh. Right? Litame shnayim, 1 and 2. Livsol echad, 3. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Mazel Tov. Left in share, and today we're going to go over a little bit more, which is a Lamed Hamad Beis. That is Hashoche Behema Chaya Ve'ov. Someone who's shechting, kisher, they're kosher, and they can be eaten with hands that are dirty, prepared to become tuma with dam. Many days of hard work. to even get to the end of this. So yeah. And it comes out that the answer is that there is that even if he's just being machmir, it even affects and
But no change in the halachic status.
according to Paskin like that. But there is an opinion like that in the Tanaim. Um, okay, tomorrow says anything. The Rif might say nothing. The Rif might say, "Why did you check here?" Okay. Um, so I'm looking in the Rif for the right thing, for the right. Okay. Hash tummy hands because they were not Hukshar Bidam. Rif doesn't mention anything. But the Balamor of Zrachi Levi, he says, from what we saw today, Maziv Rav Huna Berater Rav Nazan, Rav Huna, son of Rav Nazan, challenges, and he says, Sheni Jebechul Ozel Ochle Truma, and it impurifies the eaters of Truma. Vashlishi Jebet Truma, and the three in Truma. Mitame Mashke Kodesh, Viposel Ochle Kodesh. Impure makes impure the liquid of Kodesh, and because the chulin that a person being mad, so it gets a 4. Tinu she has a shlishi shalams or 3 or not. Osa bakdish revi makes an akdish a 4. Kol shegain halcha the isbu begufay v'kasha l'Rav Yitzchak. And there's a question to Rav Yitzchak. The Amar ein lecha davar she'osa revi b'kodesh ela kodesh mikudash bilvad. Right? Because Rav Yitzchak said the only thing that can make a 4 in Kodesh is Kodesh itself. But here we're saying that according to the guy who said here, and his chulin can make Taras Hektish. His chulin that he's done doing Rav Yitzchak that the Gemara asks. Comes Rav Yitzchak and I say, actually, it's a Tanai, the Malugas Tanai. The Ashkechan Tana, because we find one Tana, the low sphere that you're asking on me from him. Who Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Tzadok, Rabbi Lazar son of Rabbi Tzadok. Wait on. These Lu Revi, Truma that doesn't have a 4. You can't bring it up to a 4, but you can get those spirale Kahu, the Mosiv lay. Rav Huna, meaning that the Rav Huna is asking from it. Ana mitritzna, we are answering Alive according to him. Aliva Didi, according to me. Dali Gamar, here's what it's saying. Hare ein kitruma, they're like truma. Kitruma, she'ain shem revi. They're like truma, they don't have a 4. Tame, and make a 3-year puzzle. Below kitruma mamish. Truma makes a 4 in Kodesh.
Say that again, please.
Wow. If it was mamish truma, the Gemara says that a 3-year could make a 4 in Kodesh. Because Taras Truma is Tuma by Kodesh. It cannot be Mamish Kachin, right? Not, I'm just treating this Machmir like Kachin. Even according to Rabbi. Okay. V'hatanan Rabbi Shimon Amar Dalames Eno Machshir V'dam Magavij. V'dam Ames. It's not Rabbi Shimon. It's talking about Rabbi Shimon. Okay. This is Ashoche Perik Sheni. Shteigin. It says Yadayim Leos Shnios to be doers. Ubi Gemara Barit, and in the Gemara they ask, Afilu Nami. The Gemara asks, even if it was Uchshar, my tours, and I'm never going to make this animal a threer, so who cares whether it's bleeding or not bleeding? Shani Ozesh Lishi B'chulin, a tour doesn't become a threer in Chulin. And we established it. No, what's the case? It's Chulin that is done al Taharas Hektish. Our Mishnah, Rabbi Tzadok, into this meat is not anymore Abram and Achai, so it gives it the Tumas Ochlin. Now it just so happens Age Kachim Sugi. These are sugyas that
And it can't become a 4?
oh it might just. It's amazing. It might just become a 4. So far we're at a 3-er. And it might just, who knows? You know, I remember we were learning Pesachim with Rav Ilson. Everyone was like talking like, yo, this is some Chris together. It's like it's Kutchin. It's Taros. And people are like, yo, it's Taros. It's really hard. We go to Chulin and we start this daf. Blood did come out. Who cares? It's Chulin. It can never become a 3-er. I think I'm going to try a few ways to try to answer it. Who remembers one of those ways? We have to look back inside. Some of the ways the Gemara tried to answer it. So one of the ways is that it was Chulin that was bought with Kesef Meiser. That was one of the ways. Chulin Shalak Chulin with Kesef Meiser. And they tried to answer, and the way that they decided was that it was Chulin that was done Al Taras Hektish. Chulin Shenasu Al Taras Hektish Askiran. That's what Rav Hoshea answered. And the Gemara is like, does not compute just a chumrah. Why should it have anything to do with anything? Question. And the Gemara just goes on, question. 2 pages later, oh, there is one guy. Rabbi Tzadok, who actually holds that this guy's chumrah actually changes the status of the food.
Wow.
See the Chidush Ramban. He says, "V'ana amina Rabbi Yeshua." Remember the machlokes Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer. Wow, it's a big Ramban. Rabbi Tav. Torah v'ochel v'hektish in chadavar oser vi. Okay, we'll do that one in the Ramban. That there's nothing that makes a revi'i in Kodesh except for more Kodesh. A truma that's a shlishi doesn't make it a Kodesh, right? So all the more so, someone who's being machmir on his chulin and considering it to be a higher level is not going. Says the Rav Mikodesh, that's already Kodesh, right? The Kevan de Revi'i lo Avid, since it doesn't make Revi'i. Later on, that is Machlokas Tanayim. Don't forget about Rabbi Tzadok. Mitzvah of Rabbi Yitzchak, or that's only according to Rabbi Yitzchak that this Machlokas Tanayim. That you suffer, the other guy holds Rashi, I don't know. The guy who eats it. That which he says, oh, it's like truma status and make it like truma. No, you don't make it like truma for everything. You make it like truma that it would be mitame, that if it's a rishon or a sheni, it's mitame, and if it's a shlishi, it's posel. But truma, which is posel, the good. So, according to Rabbi Yitzchak, according to the Machlokas, Tanakama, and Rabbi Tzadok, according to Rabbi Tzadok, the person's chumrah can have an effect on on the item,
Wow.
but it doesn't make it to the level of kachim, not even to the level of truma. Hacha shani, here's different. She'ein lecha davar shu mishum kodesh shows the revi klal, because even though like we're gonna be machmir, but we have a principle that we have nothing that can make a four except for more kachim. Nothing can make a four except for a three of kachim. Principle, right? Ela Kodesh Mekudash Bavad, and Zehu Torev Perish Rashi. He's like, this is the essence of what Rashi's saying. Ubitaizvez Shalu, and Tosfos asked, Im Kain Shalishi, is that this three or Lama, Rema, what's it, three or four? Mashma, the Shem Tuma, the Shlishi Alav, is implying that it has the name of a threer of Tuma. V'im eno posel haguf lekodesh, and if it doesn't impurify the guf to eat kodesh, v'kol again vada the truma, certainly for truma. Ma tuma yeshalav, what's so tuma about it that warrants calling it a threer? V'kedani alea, and they teach about it. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Tzadok, from Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Tzadok. Harahain kitruma litame shnayim. It's like truma to be mitame 1 and 2, and the psal echad to make puzzle the three. My pesula say what is puzzle? Umavrish and nifzal mile hakdisho l'mizbeach. You can't be makdish it anymore. Even though midaraisa you can't be makdish it. This guy's chumrah. According to Rabbi Tzadok, brought this food, this fruit, to a level where you can't be mocked. There's no threer. Himself is tower, not puzzle. If the 8 of 3 itself, if he puzzle both as a kodesh, the eater can't eat kachim. So why not in the case of the guy who's machmir? Can't go against the principle that nothing makes a 4 in kachim except for a 3 in kachim. Ela kochim kodesh mekudash shalo gazu chavim revi b'davar acher. This revi is derabana. They make the gezerah that a 3 in truma can just come in. A 3 in truma can't come in. All the more so a 3 from Zah Machmir Michael can't just come in. Alma ein kedushas ekdish chala al shum davar shenitvas b'kedushas adios kemoa. It's not like you umalos atuma, the levels of tuma ain't not ela kechulin greda. They're just like chulin itself. They gave unto law v'kekodesh. It doesn't make right. Person's not bringing it to the base of mikdash. And so it's just chulin, ilgach, abshlishi, behem. Therefore, they can't even get a threer. Okay, thank you, Ramban. Great Ramban. Great Ramban. Do you see a Rashba? Could you see a Rashba here? When we finish the second parak, I got to get a new Kavez Mafar. Says the Rashba. The same sugya shein lecha davar hoser vi b'kodesh ella kodesh mekudesh b'vad, says Rashi Zal, etc. It talks about a lot of things, this and a lot of that. Okay. Let's see what the Rashba says about that. Who adin Davi Mati Lamemer Man Kavrei Rebbe Elazar. Okay. The EU who the Mukila El Bechulin that he was the one who had the Parish Daima to the Parish Bazel. He said, I'd rather say Rabbi Barchana Shtikol. You rather say Rabbi Barchana Shtikol. So you rather do because he explains his reasoning. We asked, Ula, friends, we have we're just trying to figure out the eater of 3 of Chulin, Abba, Barchana. Because so why did they explain Rabbi Barchana? This is on 34a. Because Rabbi Barchana says, name Rabbi Yechanan, my Adri. Oh, he explains the machlokas Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yoshua. The machlokas Rabbi Barchana and Ula. Rabbi Eliezer says that the eater of 1 is a 1, 2 is a 2, 3 is a 3. The eater of a 3 is a 2 for Kodesh, but not a 2 for Truma. Very interesting. Torah Sabayis. Okay, I'm going to see it. We're going to see it. Look it up. I think it's just a little chazara. 2 people holding a knife and they shecht. Even 1 is above and 1 is below. The shechita is kosher and they established it. There'll be 2 people holding it. Remember that? Okay. That's some Torah Sabayis for this. Okay. So let's see. The Rashba talks about something that I wanted to talk about. Avatuma. The clothes of the Amaretz become an Avatuma. Eitzel Parosh.
Wow.
For the part, Lomar Ochel Chulin B'Tara. So someone who wants to eat this Chulin B'Tara, the clothes of the Amaretz is like an Avatuma for him. Big day a Prushim. And someone who eats his Chulin impurity is like an avatoma. What does it mean? Kamidras? It means like an avatoma. It's a ochle meiser for the eaters of meiser. Meiser sheni. V'chein shall meiser truma. V'chein shall truma l'kodesh. V'chein kodesh l'negias mechatas. Wow! And also, it goes up a level, says the Meiri, from Kachim to touching the water of a Pa'aduma.
Wow.
And we said, when we started this sugya 7 or 8 or 9 days ago, that I remember hearing when I was a kid, Paraduma is the next level, but I said I never saw it right, I never saw it inside.
Wow.
And so here, the Meiri says for touching the Paraduma, Mechatas.
That's amazing.
Me. Yo, just so crazy that we're looking at Meiri today. B'chashash atuma b'kol elu be'ama aretz, and so the worry about all of these tumas with the ama aretz b'mnei shehu kizav l'kol davarav, and ama aretz might as well be splitzing this mystery juice, for all, ama aretz there's no taira, not holding, might as well be a zav, get his clothes out of here, Get his clothes away from someone who's being super.
And they're saying that the clothing of an Amahar, it's not when he's in the status of a Zav. It's dafka just the begadim on an Amahar. It's our level of Tuma that.
For someone who is eating all his chulin at Tara. Now even if we want.
Chulin bitara.
Chulin bitara. Yeah. Now even if we want so badly to be at that level, first you got to find the Paduma. And then we can talk about how many mikvahs, and how long you have to, wait, and what time.
Wow.
But first, Baratuma Hazash, Shvi,
Wow.
And we sprinkle the pot. What, would think it'd be easy to get pure? It will be easier to bring a korban in tuma than to get pure,
Wow.
to get everyone pure. But then again, maybe if we make a paraduma, like someone could just get pure, you know? We have to see. We're learning these halachas, just getting started. So, anyways, with other people, it's maybe his wife that was menstruating sat on them. The and even though they're being careful from the tuma, mikomago and anything, when the tuma happens to them, or to their clothing. Ein miskavnin l'tevilas bigdayim. They're not intending to take their clothes to the mikvah. Ella, there's a shirt in the mikvah. Ella lama shahur galuvo, what they get used to. Because it gave on the tevila the shame davar acher. Everyone whose intention in his mikvah is for a different thing. Lo also lo lechamor hemenu. In this idea in the Maseches Chagiga, shkayach gadol to the Meiri, who tells us that there is a higher level than kachin paduma. I didn't say that there's a Ravi in Paduma yet. He didn't say that yet. But he did say, oh, by the way, there's a higher level than the 4 of Kach. So let's bring that all. That is time to wish to one and all goodbye. Farewell. So long. Adieu. Say Rabbi Yavos. Dear Rabbi Nachas. Shva Ruach. Noid Me'ayin. Moshe Barucho. Echaban. Torah Mivili Day. Zeros Mivili Day.
Jesus.
Mivili Day.
Nikias.
Mivili Day.
Precious.
Mivili Day.
Chassidus.
Mivili Day.
Tara.
Mivili Day.
Dusha.
Mivili Day.
Kiss Mason. Another.
Mivili Day.
Kiss Mason.
Ohev Ezer Torah.
Umechabda.
Ohev Ezer Brios.
Mechabdan.
Atumanvu. Goodbye until we meet again. Shteigin.